Buddhism is a philosophy and a way of life that has been around for over 2,500 years. Originating in ancient India, it is a religion that teaches us how to find inner peace and happiness, and how to live in harmony with the world around us. In this video, we will explore the top 5 Buddhist teachings that have helped countless people find happiness and meaning in their lives. Number 1. The Four Noble Truths. The Four Noble Truths are the foundation of Buddhist philosophy, and they are central to understanding the nature of suffering and how we can overcome it. The first noble truth is that suffering exists in life. This means that no matter who we are or what our circumstances are, we will inevitably experience some form of suffering, whether it be physical, emotional, or psychological. The second noble truth is that suffering arises from craving and attachment. This means that our desire for things to be different than they are is what causes us to suffer. Whether we are attached to material possessions, relationships, or even our own ego, this attachment causes us to feel unsatisfied and unfulfilled. The third noble truth is that suffering can be overcome. This means that it is possible for us to find a way out of suffering and to experience true happiness and peace. The fourth noble truth is that the path to the cessation of suffering is the Eightfold Path. The Eightfold Path consists of 8 steps or guidelines that help us cultivate wisdom, compassion, and moral conduct. These steps include right understanding, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. In order to truly understand the Four Noble Truths, it is important to recognize that they are not just abstract concepts, but rather they are experiential truths that can be realized through personal practice and observation. By examining our own experience of suffering, we can come to understand the root causes of our suffering and develop the skills necessary to overcome it. Through meditation and mindfulness practices, we can cultivate the awareness and insight needed to break free from our attachment to craving and to live a life of greater joy and contentment. Ultimately, the Four Noble Truths are a roadmap for spiritual growth and self-discovery. They offer a framework for understanding the nature of suffering and the path to liberation from it. By embracing these truths and incorporating them into our lives, we can experience a profound shift in our perspective and find the peace and happiness that we seek. Number 2. The Eightfold Path. The Eightfold Path is the practical application of the Four Noble Truths. It is a set of guidelines that help us live a life of wisdom, compassion, and moral conduct. The Eightfold Path consists of 8 steps or guidelines that help us cultivate these qualities. The first step of the Eightfold Path is right understanding. This means developing a clear understanding of the Four Noble Truths and the nature of reality. It involves understanding the impermanence of all things and the interconnectedness of all beings. The second step is right intention. This means cultivating wholesome intentions and motivations. It involves developing a genuine desire to alleviate suffering in ourselves and others, and to cultivate compassion and wisdom. The third step is right speech. This means using our words to promote peace and understanding, rather than causing harm. It involves speaking truthfully, kindly, and with mindfulness. The fourth step is right action. This means living a life that is in alignment with our values and principles. It involves acting in ways that promote well-being and happiness, rather than causing harm. The fifth step is right livelihood. This means making a living in a way that is ethical and supports our spiritual growth. It involves avoiding livelihoods that cause harm or promote suffering. The sixth step is right effort. This means making a sustained effort to cultivate wholesome qualities and overcome unwholesome ones. It involves being diligent in our practice and not giving up in the face of obstacles. The seventh step is right mindfulness. This means cultivating a clear and non-judgmental awareness of our thoughts, feelings, and sensations in the present moment. It involves developing the ability to observe our experience without getting caught up in it. The eighth and final step is right concentration. This means developing the ability to focus our attention and cultivate a deep state of mental calm and clarity. It involves practicing meditation and other concentration techniques. By following the Eightfold Path, we can cultivate mindfulness, wisdom, and compassion, and live a fulfilling and meaningful life. The Eightfold Path offers a practical guide for transforming our lives and achieving spiritual growth. Through consistent practice and dedication, we can make progress on the path and experience greater peace, happiness, and fulfillment. Number 3. The Three Universal Truths. The Three Universal Truths are a fundamental aspect of Buddhist philosophy that offer a perspective on the nature of reality. These truths are often referred to as the three characteristics, because they are considered to be the essential qualities of all phenomena. The first universal truth is that all phenomena are impermanent. This means that everything in the world, including our thoughts, feelings, and physical bodies, are in a constant state of flux and change. Nothing lasts forever, and everything is subject to decay and transformation. The second universal truth is that all phenomena are unsatisfactory. This means that no matter how much we may strive for happiness and pleasure, it is ultimately temporary and fleeting. We are never truly satisfied, and our pursuit of happiness often leads to disappointment and suffering. The third universal truth is that all phenomena are without a self or essence. This means that there is no permanent, unchanging self or soul that exists independently of our thoughts, feelings, and experiences. Rather, our sense of self is a product of our conditioning and is constantly changing and evolving. By understanding these universal truths, we can gain a deeper insight into the nature of reality and the causes of our suffering. We can come to see that our attachment to impermanent things, our desire for happiness, and our identification with a separate self are all sources of suffering. By letting go of these attachments and developing a deeper understanding of the nature of reality, we can cultivate greater peace and happiness in our lives. Ultimately, the three universal truths point to the impermanence and interconnectedness of all things. By recognizing this truth and cultivating a sense of compassion and wisdom, we can overcome our own suffering and contribute to the greater good of all beings. Number 4. The law of karma. Karma refers to the law of cause and effect. It is the idea that our actions, both physical and mental, have consequences that determine our future experiences. The law of karma states that every action we take, whether intentional or unintentional, creates an imprint on our mind that will ripen in the future. According to the law of karma, positive actions create positive karma, while negative actions create negative karma. This means that our present experiences are the result of our past actions, and our future experiences will be determined by our present actions. Karma is not seen as a punishment or reward system, but rather as a natural law that governs the universe. The effects of our actions may not be immediate or obvious, but they will eventually manifest in some form or another. In Buddhist practice, the law of karma is important because it emphasizes the importance of ethical behavior and encourages us to be mindful of our actions. By cultivating positive karma through acts of generosity, kindness, and compassion, we can create the conditions for happiness and well-being in our own lives and in the lives of others. At the same time, the law of karma also suggests that we are responsible for our own suffering. If we are experiencing difficulties or challenges in our lives, it is often a result of our past negative actions or unskillful habits. By acknowledging and taking responsibility for our own karma, we can begin to make positive changes in our lives and create the conditions for greater happiness and well-being. Overall, the law of karma teaches us that our actions matter, and that we have the power to shape our own destiny through our thoughts and behaviors. By cultivating positive karma and avoiding negative actions, we can create a more positive and fulfilling life for ourselves and those around us. Number 5. The Four Immeasurables. The Four Immeasurables are a set of virtues or attitudes that are cultivated in Buddhist practice to develop a more compassionate and loving mindset. They are also known as the Four Brahmaviharas, which means the sublime attitudes or divine abodes. The Four Immeasurables are as follows. Loving-kindness, metta. This is the quality of unconditional love and kindness towards all beings. It involves cultivating a sincere wish for the happiness and well-being of all beings, including ourselves, our loved ones, and even those we may consider our enemies. Compassion, karuna. This is the quality of empathizing with the suffering of others and wishing to relieve their pain. It involves developing a sense of connection and concern for the welfare of all beings. Sympathetic joy, mudita. This is the quality of rejoicing in the happiness and success of others. It involves cultivating a sense of delight and joy in the good fortune of others, rather than feeling envious or resentful. Equanimity, upekkha. This is the quality of calmness and balance in the face of life's ups and downs. It involves developing a sense of acceptance and non-attachment to the changing circumstances of our lives and the world around us. By cultivating these four immeasurables, we can develop a more open-hearted and compassionate approach to life. They can help us to overcome negative emotions such as anger, jealousy, and fear, and cultivate positive qualities such as love, empathy, and generosity. In Buddhist practice, the four immeasurables are often practiced through meditation and contemplation. By focusing our attention on these qualities and cultivating them within ourselves, we can bring them into our interactions with others and the world around us. Through this practice, we can develop a more meaningful and fulfilling life, while also contributing to the greater good of all beings. In conclusion, these are just some of the many teachings of Buddhism that have helped millions of people around the world find inner peace and happiness. By following these teachings, we can learn to live a life of wisdom, compassion, and moral conduct, and cultivate the qualities of the heart and mind that bring true fulfillment and meaning to our lives. Thank you for watching, and may you find peace and happiness on your journey.